Welcome back to ASL Chennai Speaks Out. Before we went in for this break, we had Chinmayi here who was talking about this very subject, and she believes that it didn't even need any discussion. At this point, I'm going to turn to James. James, now you're in the television business, you're in the music business. Do you believe that the media can actually foster your business?
Regarding this privacy of celebrities, I have a very precise but concrete opinions. Let me put it this
Please.
way. You can't lay down laws or rules. Okay, that way, when it comes to journalism,
Yes.
For example, because Ndtv is aligning with the Hindu and I'm a regular reader and subscriber of Hindu, I don't expect silly or cheap or false malicious gossips about celebrities or anybody in Hindu. I know it's a credible newspaper. So,
And a channel, I hope.
exactly, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Okay.
that's why they have come
Yeah,
together.
okay.
Okay. I read Hindu and I subscribe to all the opinions and views when it comes to celebrities,
Right.
part of this aspect. Same way, when a journalist, if through cheap publicity and cheap writing, if that is how he wants to make money and he doesn't bother about credibility, it's up to him. You can't sit here and or stand up and shout and say, don't write about me or write about her. See, there are so many laws. Indian Penal Code has
Right.
got millions, volumes of laws. Everything has been broken. But still, people are really not abiding by laws.
Right. So, Fatima, if it was something that was credible and if it was something that was true, are you okay with that?
See, Monica Lewinsky's case, it was true, so she could prove it with the cement test. If it's not true, and if you're going to write about a person, an actress in Tamil Nadu, that she has been sexually harassed or whatever, and she has done nothing like that, how is she going to prove it? When it has not happened and you write this and such a thing has happened.
Malicious printing is what is the matter of contention
So,
today.
by malicious, Sharath, do you mean something that would damage you or damage your
No,
career,
malicious
damage your
is very
family
clear.
life?
Malicious very clearly states what is not true.
What is not true? Absolutely.
Right.
Madam,
If
just
it is
take
true, I will take it as, okay, they have come to know about me, fine.
I want to comment on
Malicious
Hold on,
in
hold on,
nature,
please.
the very
Hold on,
printing
sir.
material itself.
Now, let's hear
A lot
Murari.
of bad things has been said about the press. As a representative of the press, I have to defend it. Stardust thrives on film gossip. Point number one. Point number two, there are several film stars who keep denying their affairs until they are ready for marriage.
Do we believe that the stars themselves have been created by us in the media? They've been made by us in the media.
Stars have been created by the media up to a point. Beyond that, stars become marketing ambassadors themselves. The media needs the stars more than the stars needing the media. And media, if it cannot be responsible, today you can't call it media. It is a malicious propaganda medium which inflicts unwanted negative things in the society. I am not interested.
But sir, having said
I am
that...
not interested at
right,
all.
Sir, let me hear this lady speak. 1 second.
Everyone is performing their profession. As I said, the media is doing the press are doing their profession, and even the actors are doing their profession. But the profession of one person the happiness of one person should not be the sorrow of the other person.
Right.
It's very important.
Would you...
Whatever you
this
do.
is a very important point I would like to ask. Chinmayi, I want to start with you. Are you all right if something is said about you and your family is actually kept away from this? Would that be okay? Chinmayi, let me start, and I'm going to ask all the members of the panel
I'm sorry,
of that.
I didn't get that one.
If somebody wrote something about your family members, would that be acceptable or not? Or is it okay if it's something about you that's not necessarily damaging to you?
There was one, see what happens is that there are a couple of things that I'd like to say. There was one piece of gossip which came in a vernacular magazine, and we, as a rule, we don't read gossip, we read other stuff, but then somebody calls up and says, you know, this has been written about you, and you know what, this is the, you know, it's all written in all those code words, and you need to do these guesses, you know, Tamil magazines are famous for that. So, you know, this person, and now this guy is much married, and I know for a fact that there was no such affair, there was no such issue, there was no love lost. Actually, it was lost. It was nothing was happening there. But the fact that somebody would go down and write about something that never happened, and then it becomes an issue. Somebody says, "Oh, I heard this and I heard that," and that these are people, friends that you know, who come across and say. And as she said, there is no way I can go out and disprove. How many times do I go out and say, okay? And then point two, as long as affairs are concerned, any normal person today, anybody in the society would like to see, would like to get to know a person before they get married. Don't we have the darned right? Don't we have the right to actually get to know someone? Because we have this, you know, larger than life thing. We also are lead as much as normal lives. We also wash our dishes, we also sweep our houses, and then we also lead normal lives.
Sharath, does any of this kind of gossip upset you?
No, gossips
Or
of a different
anything, whether
nature.
it concerns
See,
you or
the
your
question
family.
that you asked initially, Chinmayi, was
Yes.
like, would I object to
Yes.
publishing the photographs of my family or
Yes.
writing about them? Well, writing about them in what context, that again is what will interest me.
Right.
But only thing that I'll be objecting to is something which is not true, which is published, that I have to defend it.
Right.
That part of it I will never even accept it.
Right. Fatima.
My family will not believe anything that's being written on any magazine in bad taste about me. So that trust that I have built in the family is untrashable. They will have this. I will get the solid support from my family, come what may. So when I read anything about me, I just read it and flip it off and laugh it off. But the same maturity you cannot expect from every person, every woman who comes into the public life.
Right. So
She needs lots of mental courage to go through this thing.
So you don't care a toss.
I don't care.
You
a
don't
toss.
care
I
a
have
toss
proved
about what is
my
written.
life has been a proof to that.
What about you?
See, the gossips matter. What affects an artist or any public, entertainers is the paper or the matter, the magazine in which it appears. There has been a lot of magazines, papers, which has been there for the past 40, right from the days of M.K. Tyagaraja Baba,
Right.
Hindu Nation, all these things. No one has bothered. People in the film industry, as far as I know, they have totally ignored all these things. So they are not bothered about anything. What is bothering them is when it comes in a particular paper, which is believed by the public.
So it
That
depends
is how it
when.
comes.
Let me hear from Vincent.
Let me be
That's what.
That's what.
Yeah.
If it comes,
Wait,
What is
give me a
printed when it is
minute.
untrue matters to me.
that's what.
Right,
Which is
okay, let's
untrue,
hear
which is
Murari.
not-
One sec, you brought in Hindu Nation, it's a very good thing. Hindu Nation was a scandal sheet. And you know what happened to Alavandar? He was killed. And you know, Tyagaraja Bhagavatar was convicted. N.S. Krishna was convicted. They went to jail. They spent 10 years in jail.
That's what you want us to take
No,
law
no,
into
no,
law
no,
into
no, I'm
our own
not
hands
saying
and do
that.
the
I'm
same
not
thing to
saying
the people who
that.
No,
publish
don't.
wrong about us.
Okay,
I'm not saying
fine.
that at all.
Let's
I'm not
hear.
defending at all.
Let's hear from. Sorry, sir.
You said they are ignoring.
No, no.
They are
Let
ignoring
me
the
hear
very
from
fact that I can be
Vincent.
polite.
I'd like to hear from Vincent. We haven't heard anything from you.
I just want to introduce myself first. It's because it's important to what I'm going to say. I'm Vincent Asogan. Asogan that's my dad's name, and he was a Tamil actor. And the reason why I mentioned this is we are talking about journalism which was 20 years or 30 years back, and was more about the actor, his performance, and to a point when they went to his private life was what he led outside the screen. It never went into the family. I was a star's son,
Right.
right?
Did it
Now,
affect you?
It didn't affect me at all.
Because it was not about
It
his...
was not, because
Okay.
journalism, as
Right.
such, we are talking about public figure.
Right.
Whether he deserves a private life or not, he definitely had. His
Right.
family was not affected.
So how
that
different
us.
is it for you now? Because now
Exactly.
you're acting.
That's exactly what I'm coming to. Now, I would call it modern journalism, where they want to know about the private life. So the private life, to a point that he or she never gets to, it's not a private life as to what he's doing on a daily basis or anything like that, but more into what he does more than that. You know, that's where they actually get into it, and I think it is wrong. But there's another aspect to it. When a person steps into being a public figure, being a celebrity as a star or in any sports person or anything like that, he has to give up some of his privacy, like for everybody else.
Right.
That is accepted.
Fair enough. Okay. Sharath, what about guarding your privacy? Are you able to do that effectively? Are film stars, are entertainers able to actually guard their privacy?
Why should we guard our privacy? You know,
Because you don't want
I
to-
love to go into crowd, shake hands with them, and I like that because they created me. I like that, but certain other people may not like it. But as far as I am concerned, I like to move with the crowd, like to be Aam Aadmi, if you really say it in Hindi. I would like to be Aam
Spoken
Aadmi, I
like
like
a
a common man.
politician.
But only the stepping, you know, how far you go. It's like the Englishman in front of him, you know, swinging an umbrella, and the guy at the back saying, "Could you watch out?" He says, "I've got the liberty and freedom to do what I want." Well, you've got the liberty and freedom to do what you want, but it ends at the tip of my nose. The same way you create yourself. If of course Murari is a very senior journalist over here, he knows what is the ethics of journalism. How far do you go into writing something? I don't think this was done in yesteryears. So why do you have to go into the private life? Fine, you want to know what Sharathkumar does? Fine, Sharathkumar buys lovely cars. It's been written many times. Sharathkumar's next ambition is to buy an aircraft. Good, fine, go ahead. Sharathkumar's got a lot of problems with the bank. Write it, no problem. What is true, write it. I don't have nothing, no qualms about it. But don't write something that's untrue, and don't hurt the feelings and emotions of people who are in public life, who also have a family, like she said. I have a family too. My children are going to school. And they have to meet people. If you say your mother is so and so, your mother is involved in this without even rhyme or reason, you just write something, put it on paper, how are they going to see the other children in school?
Children are not so mature to take
They are
such
mature to take
news.
it.
So it can damage.
It can, it
a
has
family.
damage. That is exactly why here.
He quoted the Englishman, your freedom stops where my nose begins. Another Englishman, famous Englishman said, publish and be damned. Even Prince William's private life is under scrutiny.
Prince William's, yes, he is a prince in UK, fine. He is
Binge drinking,
several
they are
seas
talking
away
about
from
binge
it. That's
drinking.
okay. That's
Right.
okay. It's his personal life. Why should it be under scrutiny?
Jennifer, in certain cases, there
Yes.
are people who get away with answers, very smart answers, like how Churchill was one day asked by Lady Astor. She told him, bluntly in front of him, if I was your wife, I would poison your coffee. You know what Churchill said? He said, well, if you are my wife, I would have had the coffee.
Yes, I know.
See, that's something smart way answer. There are people who are clever to answer the press,
think
deal with
we
press.
should
I think
talk about-
you should know what to publish. That is a very clear thing. I'm very clear.
Right.
I don't want to have any discussion on this. What the particular vernacular newspaper has done is definitely wrong. I like to be transparent. There was a day in my life when I had an affair with an actor, and it was very well published. I never called up the press and said, stop it. I said, yes, I may even get married to her. So if it is
Right.
true, go ahead and write it, I'm saying. When it's not true, I will definitely object.
Right, okay. Right, fine. We'll just take a very short break and we'll get right back with you on SL Chennai Speaks Out.